I'm 82 years old now. I spend most of my days in this green armchair by the window, watching the light move across the floorboards. It's funny how you don't notice the sun moving when you're busy. For 60 years, I never noticed the sun. I only noticed the clock, the calendar, and the way men at the club looked at me when I wore a suit that cost more than my father made in a year. I'm sitting here today in a house that is very big and very quiet. 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, a wraparound porch, exactly the kind of house people told me a successful man should own. But the silence in these rooms is heavy. It's the kind of silence that has weight to it, like a blanket that's grown damp and cold. I've realized lately that I spent my entire life building a stage, but I never actually stopped to perform the play. I was too busy making sure the set looked right for the audience. That's the trouble with living for other people's eyes. You eventually realize the audience isn't even watching. They're all too busy worrying about their own stage. When I was 24, I had a fire in me. I told my wife Sarah that I was going to give her everything. I told her we wouldn't be like our parents, scratching for pennies. I thought being someone meant having a title that made people straighten their ties when you walked into a room. I started working 70 hours a week at the firm. I didn't think of it as a sacrifice then. I thought of it as a down payment. I told Sarah, just a few more years of this, and then we'll really start living. The years didn't come in a few. They came in decades. I remember my first big promotion at 32. I came home with expensive champagne, wanting Sarah to be proud. She just asked if this meant I'd be home for our son Michael's Saturday games. I told her I was doing this for his future. I believed my own lie. I wasn't doing it for him. I was doing it because I loved the way the senior partners slapped me on the back. I was chasing a version of myself that lived only in the minds of people who didn't actually care about me. The whole time, I never once asked God what He wanted. I grew up in the church and knew the verses, but I used God as a cosmic insurance policy. I'd say a quick prayer before a big closing, treating Him like a silent partner who didn't get a vote in the business. I never sat in the silence the way I'm sitting now and asked, Lord, am I where you want me to be? I was too afraid of the answer. By the time I was 45, the damage was there, though it was quiet. It wasn't a storm that knocked the house down. It was a slow leak in the basement. I missed Michael's graduation for a merger in Chicago, telling myself the expensive car I bought him would make up for my empty chair. When he said, "It's okay, Dad. I know you're busy." It sounded like forgiveness, but it was actually the sound of a child giving up on his father. Sarah and I stopped talking about anything real. I replaced intimacy with providing, thinking that as long as the mortgage was paid, I was a good husband. I was just a stranger who paid the bills. I had a heart scare at 55. Lying in that hospital bed, I realized that if I died, the firm would have my job posted before my funeral was over. I told God that if He got me through, I'd slow down. But as soon as the monitor stopped beeping, I went right back to the grind. I wanted to retire as a legend. The turning point came 6 years ago when Sarah got sick. It was the kind of fast that doesn't give you time to settle accounts. In those final months, she took my hand and said, "I always loved you, Arthur. I just wish you had been here with us." She didn't wish for a bigger house. She just wished I had been present. After the funeral, the audience came, patted my shoulder, and spoke of my great success. As they walked out, I realized I didn't even like half of them. I had sacrificed my family's joy for the approval of people I wouldn't even invite to my birthday party. I went into my office that night and looked at the Man of the Year plaques. I realized I would trade every single one of them for one more Tuesday night dinner where I actually listened to my family instead of checking my pager. But you can't trade. Time is a currency that only goes one way. You can't work overtime to buy back your children's youth. I've started praying again lately, not for things, just talking. I told him, "Lord, I'm sorry I never asked for your lead. I feel like a man who's been walking in the dark for 60 years and someone just turned a candle on. The light shows me how much of my life was just clutter and noise." I see Michael doing the same thing now, checking his watch during Sunday lunch. And I want to scream that it's a trap, but I just sit here and try to be present for the 30 minutes he gives me. If you're still in the middle of it, convinced that the next promotion will make you whole, look at me. I have the money and the success, and I would give it all away to be 30 again, living in a cramped apartment, asking God, "What do you want me to do?" instead of asking the world, "How do I look?" I spent 60 years chasing a ghost, and now I'm the only one left to guard this monument to myself. Don't wait for the silence of an empty house to realize you were meant to be a child of God and a father, not just a producer. Those are the only titles that don't gather dust. My breathing is shallower now, but I'm finally learning to be quiet and listen to the voice I ignored for so long. It's a kind voice, which hurts the most. Like a father watching a child play with broken glass when there was a garden waiting outside. The sun is almost down. If this means anything to you, just take a moment tonight. Don't check your email. Just talk to the people you love and talk to Him. Everything else is just theater. I'm going to sit here a while longer and just be still. It's taken me 80 years to learn how to do that, but I'm finally here.